The following is a presentation of Retro Sports Network and HockeyTournaments.com, your place to find adult hockey tournaments or advertise adult hockey tournaments around the country and the rest of North America. The drive to the playoffs on Retro Sports Network is presented exclusively by HockeyTournaments.com, also home of the HockeyTournaments.com Pro Bowl, coming in late January to Retro Sports Network. Okay, for those of you who start watching on tape and wait for the pregame show to be over before you jump, let's go through what happened the rest of Week 15. Everything except for the two games we're playing this week are final, because I wanted to give you some sort of indication to myself of who's in, who's out, and who we're playing in the, if it matters, we play it, Week 16. On Saturday, this was one of those 2 weeks of the season that had Saturday replay, had the Saturday games. Pittsburgh shut out Baltimore 41-0. Franco Harris ran for 102 yards. Terry Bradshaw went 19 for 20 for 239 yards and 2 scores. With that, Pittsburgh clinches the AFC Central. Cleveland, even though they're 11-4, they can't catch them in the loss column. Pittsburgh will host a playoff game. New England wins the AFC East outright if they hadn't before. They beat Buffalo 28-17. Steve Grogan 13 for 22 for 253 yards. The road, well, I can't say that yet. If New England beats Miami next Sunday or next week, or if Pittsburgh loses to Denver, New England will have home field all the way through. Or in fact, if they have 13 wins, we'll see. So Pittsburgh and New England will be home teams for the AFC divisional playoffs. The Browns kept pace in the wild card race. They dumped the Jets 38-10. Brian Sipe 11 for 19 for 207 yards. Miami's done. They cannot make... I don't want to say they can't. It would be nearly impossible for Miami to make the playoffs. They lose at home to Oakland 31-10. Mark Van Egan, 20 carries, 86 yards. Dave Casper, 5 catches for 70 and a touchdown. Washington, in what must have been an absolute snoozer of a game, they beat Atlanta 10-5. Atlanta's done. They cannot make the playoffs. At 10-5, Washington is a wild card team. They are in the playoffs. In fact, they will host the NFC wildcard game on Christmas night. We now know without Washington win, Christmas night, Washington will host the wildcard game. Who are they playing? Well, we don't have any idea yet because Dallas won 13-12 over Philadelphia. Tony Dorsett, 19 carries, 51 yards. Billy Joe Dupree, 5 catches for 84. So Philadelphia, although they are 8-7, they can still be caught by both the Giants, Cardinals, Lions, and Vikings. And even the Bears could get demoted down to the wild card game. We will have for you the Eagles and the Giants in Philadelphia next week on this channel. The Giants stay alive because they beat the Cardinals 24-23. Jim Hart, 12 for 26 in a losing effort. Houston, they're going to do their best, but they're going to miss. They dumped New Orleans out of the possible playoff picture, 24-7 at the Superdome. Tim Wilson, 14 carries, 83 yards, leading rusher in the game. Green Bay beat Chicago 24-22. And with that, the Packers are only a half game out. We'll go through the Week 16 schedule in a moment here. Walter Payton, 25 carries, 133 yards. Whitehurst, 14 for 29 for 154 and 2 picks. You'll see Kansas City and Denver on Thursday. Seattle officially knocked San Diego out of the playoffs, 30-12. Lydell Mitchell, 19 carries for 52. Jim Zorn, 21 for 35 for 268. Seattle, a disappointing year, especially after they had such high hopes of contending for a wild card. They're 3-12. Tampa Bay and San Francisco, no one cares about that. But for the record, the 49ers won 13-12. Los Angeles wins the NFC West on a Monday night game against Cincinnati. The Bengals are knocked out of the playoff picture because they've lost 8. 29-17. Lawrence McCutcheon, 18 carries for 108 yards. So here's what's on the docket for Week 16. Chicago and Washington is now a game that we'll have for you. In fact, we imagine we will carry both of those Saturday games for you because for Denver, it probably will matter. We'll know more after their game Thursday against Kansas City. So Chicago and Washington, yes. Pittsburgh and Denver, yes. Games that no one cares about. Buffalo and Baltimore. Cleveland and Cincinnati probably will mean something. We won't know until after Thursday's game. Dallas and the Jets doesn't mean a thing. Dallas are home field all the way. San Francisco and Detroit, maybe. That depends on what happens over the next hour and a half. New Orleans and Tampa Bay, doesn't matter. Giants, Eagles will definitely be on because 8-8 might get you in. 8-8 might get you in. If Philadelphia wins, it is in their hands. Detroit or Minnesota is going to need help, but they still could win the Central depending on the Chicago-Washington game. Atlanta and San Diego and Houston, all for pride. One team will be 9-7. Disappointing year for the Oilers. They will not be making a return trip to the AFC Championship game. Atlanta and St. Louis isn't going to matter. Kansas City and Seattle might matter. We'll see. Minnesota and Oakland might matter. Green Bay and Los Angeles. We will definitely have that. And we will wait on New England and Miami. So right now, the Week 16 plan presented by HockeyTournaments.com. Games for sure. Chicago and Washington. Pittsburgh and Denver. And New York and Philadelphia. Those three at a minimum. We'll know the rest of how we'll fill out the week depending on what happens today and in that Denver-Kansas City game. And so the playoff picture. Dallas is clinched. They are number one all the way through. We'll get to the football game in a minute. No one's watching anyway. They will go to they have won the NFC East. They have home field all the way through. They cannot lose it. So the road to Miami will run through Dallas. Los Angeles has clinched the NFC West, and at the moment they would host the Chicago Bears in that divisional game. Washington has clinched a wild card. They cannot be caught at 10-5. There's only one game left for both teams. Philadelphia, Green Bay, the Giants, and the Cardinals all have a shot at that second wild card. Actually, so do Detroit and Minnesota, if you want to be honest. Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay all have a shot at the NFC Central. So that's probably going to be most of the focus for next week. New Orleans, Atlanta are out. In the AFC, New England has won the AFC East. Pittsburgh has won the AFC Central. I'm going to take a guess and tell you that New England is probably going to be number one in the conference, but we might not know that. In fact, the New England-Miami game might get picked up just for that reason. Kansas City is right now leading the AFC West, but they play Denver later this week. Cleveland has not clinched a wild card spot yet. Yes, they have. Cleveland has made the playoffs because they won so convincingly. They're 11-4. They can't be bounced out. Denver is the one team. Denver and Kansas City. Those two teams will fight really for that last spot. So right now we can't say for sure the wild card game will be in Cleveland, but Cleveland will play in the wild card game. San Diego and Houston are out. It really is Miami. So it's a 6 teams for 5 spots. All right. I've mumbled enough. So let's get to it. This one is going to tell a lot of the story in the NFC Central. It's Minnesota and Detroit, and it's coming to you right now. The Lions are favored by 2. And they win the toss. If you missed the news earlier this week, Fran Tarkenton has decided. How you doing, Ollie? Fran Tarkenton will not play next year. This game was by request. And so, with both these teams at 6-8, with a Bears loss, one of these teams will technically hold on to a chance for the playoffs and possibly win the NFC Central. So the Lions have won the kick. The Vikings are in white with their purple helmets and white jerseys, kicking off to the Lions in that blue and silver. Thompson stands on his 8-yard line. And the game is underway. One of these old-fashioned Saturday afternoon specials. Taking it to 9, 20, 25, 30 to the 38-yard line. But it's coming back.
15-yard penalty.
Who's John DeFilippo? Not their head coach, is it? Anyway, so the Lions will start on their own 20-yard line. Dexter Bussey and Horace King are their running backs. Gary Danielson is the quarterback. And David Hill is the tight end. Trap right to King is the call on 1st and 10 for the Lions, and he gets to the 21 before Eller makes the tackle. Carl Eller, the Hall of Famer. We've not seen the Vikings yet in this replay. We have seen Detroit on Thanksgiving, a game that the Lion fans don't want to remember. From left to right, Carl Baldeschweiler is the left tackle. Lyndon Bowden, the left guard. Larry Thierry is your center. Homer Elias, your right guard. Brad Oates is your right tackle. Freddie Scott is your outside receiver. He's going to be on the far side. And Luther Blue is your other wide receiver. He'll be on the inside. Bussey sweep left on 2nd and 9. We'll meet the Vikings in a minute. He gets across to the 22, and his ball is loose. Simeon forces the fumble, but Elias recovers for the Lions. It'll be 3rd and 7 for Detroit from their own 23. Let's meet the Viking defense. They play a 4-3. Carl Eller is the left defensive end. Doug Sutherland, the left defensive tackle. On the right side, James White and Jim Marshall. The linebackers, Matt Blair is the left outside linebacker. Jeff Simeon, who made that fumble, or forced the fumble, sits in the middle. Wally Hilgenberg is the right outside linebacker. Left corner, Bobby Bryant. He's a good one. Nate Wright is the right corner. Tom Hannon is your strong safety. And the Hall of Famer Paul Krause is your free safety. 3rd and 7 for the Lions. Medium cross to Freddie Scott. Danielson back to throw. He finds Scott for a first down. 32-35. He gets to the 40. A gain of 17. Bobby Bryant on the tackle, and it's a fresh set of downs for the Lions from their own 40-yard line. Just the start of things here from the Silver Dome in Pontiac. King on a sweep to the right, to the far side. From the 40, gets a block. 45, first down, and fumbles it. Blair recovers it for Minnesota. Blair stripped it and Wright recovered it at the Viking 47. So a good run. Brad Oates forced the big hole, and Matt Blair forced the fumble. Wright recovered, and the Vikings take over 1st and 10 from their own 47. Fran Tarkenton, as I said, this is his last year, is the quarterback. Ricky Young is the fullback. And Chuck Foreman is the tailback. On the line, Jim Howe is the very out-of-place left tackle. Charlie Goodrum is the left guard. Mick Tingelhoff is the center. Wes Hamilton, the right guard. Ron Yeri, the right tackle. Bob Tucker, the tight end. Ahmad Rashad is on Tarkenton's left. He'll be on the far side. At wide receiver, and Sammy White is the right side. or the near side wide receiver. Foreman. Off tackle right on first down, but there's a flag on the play.
Start. Offense number 73.
And Ron Gary moves. It's
Repeat
be first and 15 now from the Minnesota 42. Defensively for the Lions, Al Baker is the left tackle. There's the left defensive end. He's their best defender. John Woodcock is the left defensive tackle. Bill Cook is the right defensive tackle. And Dave Purfurey is the right defensive end. Someone will correct that if I mess that one up. Three linebackers. Paul Nomoff is the left outside. Ed O'Neill sits in the middle. And Charlie Weaver, who does not look like he's on the Hollywood Squares, is on the right outside. Luther Bradley is the left corner. James Hunter is the right corner. Mike Burns is the free safety. And Jimmy Allen is the strong safety. And now you've met everybody. First and 15. Young, short, flat pass from Tarkenton. He looks, he throws, he's got it at the 40. 45 midfield and into Lion territory. Hunter makes the tackle. Periphery is out for the game. He got hurt, and so that's a big blow to the Lions. They're already thin. It's that time of year. So 2nd and 5. It was a gain of 10 by Young on the play. And Tarkenton will go to Foreman on a sweep to the left side from the 48. Gets to the 45 before Al Baker can make the tackle. It's a gain of 3. 3rd down and 2 for the Vikings from the Lion 45. Young, sweep to the near side on the right. Gets his handoff, gets the hole. Weaver with a stop, and they're going to measure, and it's 1st and 10 for the Vikings. It's the first time we've had the Vikings this year, and they still have a shot, week 15. Ahmad Rashad on a slant, but Tarkenton botches the snap, and Baker will knock him down for a loss of 3. That play was never on the same page, and for Baker, he's going to the Pro Bowl. He's had 17 sacks on the year. So 2nd and 13 as the Vikings couldn't block. Dennis Swilley's going to go in at left tackle for Jim Huff or Howe. It won't help to have Al Baker with 17 sacks against the aging Tarkenton and having basically me as your offensive blocker. 2nd and 13. Foreman will begin a pitch to the far side from the 46. He gets to the 45. He rumbles to the 44. That's a gain of 2 before Baker can make the stop. That's 3 for Al already, and it's 3rd and long for the Vikings. And so Young is the setback, and Miller, Kevin Miller, is the 3rd receiver. Tucker, the tight end. So they're going to go to Sammy White on a medium hitch. Tarkenton back in the pocket. Throws. He's going to roll to his right. He looks across to Rashad, who's got it. For a gain of 3, he scrambled, and Rashad just is immediately hit by Walt Williams. And so you're kind of in that no man's land where you got to punt. You're not going to go for it on 4th and 8. And so Coleman will punt one toward the sideline. Flag on the play. This is probably a good sign for the Vikings. The ball goes out about the 15-yard line. Call it the 14, and they pick up the flag. No flag, a 27-yard punt with 9:04 to go in the first quarter. It's the Lions nothing, the Vikings nothing. Can you blame them? Oh. Okay, I'm not real up on modern football, AU. Is that the head coach? So medium slant to blue. On 1st and 10 from the Lion 14. Danielson looks, he waits, he throws. He's got blue over the middle for a 1st down across the 25 to the 29-yard line. A gain of 15. Offensive coordinator. Okay, that makes sense. I knew I didn't know the name. So thanks to Ollie Swab, who's not watching anymore, for the information. So from the Detroit 29, give Nate Wright the tackle and Luther Blue a catch for 15. King, trap right on 1st and 10 from the 29. Vikings read that all the way. It's a gain of 2. Blair with the stop. That's his second. And King now has 3 carries for 16 yards. The situation, if you joined us late or are skipping around the video, because that doesn't happen at all, the Bears have lost their Week 15 game. The Packers beat them. And so there are 4 teams that could conceivably win, if they go 8-8, win the NFC Central. So the Lions, who are 6-8, and the Vikings, who are 6-8, have a chance. And because the Cowboys beat the Eagles 9, you could conceivably get in the wild card game at 8-8. So this game means a lot for both teams. This is not just a throwaway Saturday game. 2nd down and 8. Bussey on a trap to the left from the 31, and he is tackled behind the line by Jim Marshall for a loss of 1. 3rd and 9 for the Lions from their own 30-yard line. Let's see. Dave Hill on a medium fly for the tight end. Danielson back to throw. He's got time. He's going for a long pass, and Hannon got a piece of it. He tried to bomb to David Hill, which wasn't the call, but he thought he had it. And Tom Hannon probably saved at least 3 points because he got a hand up to deflect it. So Tom Skladany will come out to punt. No score. 6:55 to go, first quarter. I didn't see who was returning it. Minnesota will return it from the 24 to the 30. It is Miller. Kevin Miller with a return of 5 yards, and Dickel with a tackle. And so the Vikings start this drive from their own 27-yard line. 6:50 to go, first quarter, no score. From the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Long hitch to Ahmad Rashad. Tarkenton already flushed. He waits. He throws. And Burns got a piece of that. Rashad wanted an interference call, and the refs say no. They say, Burns was all over him. He tipped it. Brandy nearly picked it off. And just not going to get that call. The officials told both teams, we are not deciding this one for you. You got to win it yourself. 2nd and 10. Foreman on a pitch to the near side from the 27. He gets to the 30, 35, 40. First down and more as Weaver makes a tackle. Now that's Allen that's hurt for the Lions, and he won't return. So 2 injuries already in this game. 6:34, the clock is stopped. And Foreman got a gain of 15. Wes Hamilton, the right guard, made the big hole. So 1st and 10, Viking 42. Young on a trap left from Tarkenton. And that's right at the line of scrimmage. Cook brings him down right at the line. Bill Cook. I believe Gay is the new defensive end. Yep, Bill Gay. And again, not a great defender. But it's the end of the year, and everyone's beaten up somehow. You just got to make do. 2nd and 10. Short slant to Bob Tucker. Lions blitz. Tarkenton throws. Tucker has it at midfield. First down and more. 45 to the 44-yard line before Nat Terry can make the tackle for the Lions. They thought Chuck Foreman was going to run. He's not. It's a gain of 14 for Tucker. First down at the 44-yard line. Trap right for Chuck Foreman from the Detroit 44. And he gets it across to the 42, but not much more than a couple yards. Paul Naumoff with the stop. And it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Lions. Late first quarter, 5 minutes to go. No score. Foreman on a short flat. Minnesota throws a lot. He's got it at the 45. He gets to the 40, but fumbles it. Weaver Knocks it loose and Gay recovers. Detroit football. So Charlie Weaver makes the tackle and Detroit, Gay recovers it at the 40-yard line. And so the Lions and Vikings have recovered a fumble. Each other's fumbles. So 2 turnovers already in the first 10 minutes. Clock is stopped. 4:28 left. It's Lions nothing, the Vikings nothing. Medium hitch to Luther Blue on first down. Danielson throws. Blue has it at midfield. First down and more. 45-yard line, right with the stop. And it's a fresh set for the Lions from the Viking 45. First and 10, Detroit. Forrest King. Pitch right from the 45. Does not get his block. Blair is one of the 3 Vikings who make the tackle. He will get credit for his third. And it will be 2nd and 10 with 3:40 to go. Dexter Bussey will get a screen pass as the Vikings blitz. Danielson waits. He flips one for Bussey, but Simeon makes the good play in coverage. Jim Marshall actually hurried that throw, and it will be 3rd and long for the Lions, pardon me. From the 45. Medium cross to Freddie Scott. Danielson looking, throws it. Scott has it. Bryant makes the tackle, and they do give him forward progress and the fresh set of downs. Spot it at the Viking 34. First and 10 for the Lions. If you're wondering about a kick, Benny Ricardo's chances here are about 12%. Bussey on a pitch to the near side. Tries to get around a blocker. Gets across the 30. Simeon will knock him out of bounds at the 27. A gain of 7. And it'll be 2nd down and short for the Lions. 7 carries, 24 yards for Detroit. Danielson, 4 of 6 for 58 yards. So both teams are doing okay moving the ball. Turnovers have stopped the points. Bussey on a dive from the 27. Needs 3, won't get it. Jim Marshall stopped him right at the line. They ran a run blitz, and the Lions fell for it. So under 2 minutes to go here in the first. 3rd and 3. Hill. Short slant from Danielson. Vikings cover everything well. King gets it instead, and there's a flag down. It's a first down if it holds.
Grabbing the face man.
Yes, it will.
Defense, number 59.
Blair. Oh, my goodness gracious. So give him 4 on the play. Blair made the tackle, but he grabbed Horace King and started to twist the neck. And that's a half the distance penalty. So the Lions will get it first down at the 11-yard line. They don't need a touchdown to score. They don't need a first down. I always screw this up. They can get a first down without a touchdown. It only took me 3 weeks to figure out how to say that. So they can pretty much do what they want down here. 1:28 to go, first quarter. Clock stopped. Bussey off tackle left. Goes to the near side from the 11. And, oh, that is Simeon sniffed that out like someone was making some bacon. Baldenschweier is the one that missed the block, and it's a loss of 1. So spot it at the Viking 12 with under a minute to go. Clock running, 2nd and 11. I'm going to ask for a drink in a minute, so you're going to get muted once we get the change of quarter. Rick Kane comes in to be fresh. Hill on a short slant from the 12. Danielson looks around, throws. He finds Hill at the 5, and he's going to score. Touchdown, Detroit. Touchdown, Detroit. Danielson found Hill at the 6, and he stepped around the tackler and got in. So with 41 seconds left, the Lions score first. Benny Ricardo's extra point is up. It is good. And so with 41 seconds left, I'm going to ask for a drink. We'll be right back. This is Retro Sports Network, the drive to the playoffs, brought to you by HockeyTournaments.com. All right, she heard me. So Miller is the deep man for Minnesota. I'll take a seltzer, please. Okay. Thank you. So Miller is back for the kick. Washington and McClanahan are short. Ricardo's ready. And the Lions kick off with a 7-0 lead. 41 seconds first quarter, taken by Miller at the 7, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That's a great return. They'll spot it out of bounds. Dickel with the tackle. That's his second of the game. At the 38, a return of 32. So Minnesota with 35 seconds starts from there. They trail 7-0. 35 seconds left first quarter. Foreman on a sweep to the far side from the 38 gets to nowhere. Baker with the stop right at the line, and that will do it for the first quarter. Danielson to Hill with 41 seconds left was the only scoring in the period. And after one, it's the Lions 7, the Vikings nothing. Danielson 6 for 8 for 74 yards. Tarkenton 4 for 5 for 29. Second and 10. Sammy White on a medium slant is the call. Tarkenton has time. He looks. He throws it to White. First down at midfield. 45-41 yard line. Hunter with a stop. They'll give him at the 42. Nice catch by the wife for the protesting cat. When you see this later, you won't see it on the camera, but my wife makes a play of the day. She got the cat before she could walk on the keyboard. And for that, Sarah Juckett is our Miller Lite player of the game. And Sarah's about as impressed as she should be, which is not. First and 10 for the Vikings from the Lion 42. Young off tackle right. 40. Naumoff makes the tackle at the 37. That's a gain of 5. It's a good play. The Vikings, which was so unlike Bud Grant, really are a pass-first team in this era, kind of a foreshadowing of what would be modern football. So Young will try this a short pass in the flat. He throws. He's got it at the 40. Has room. First down, 30, 25. Burns with a tackle at the 22. So it's first and 10 from the Lion 22-yard line. And if you missed the news earlier, someone came on and told me, Ollie Suave, that the Vikings have fired their offensive coordinator, John Filippo, today. 40 years later. Not quite. We're kind of reaching the point where it's almost to the day. So first and 10 following that 15-yard catch. Young 2 catches for 25 yards. And they're going to look to Rashad. Now, can they score? Going to try a long slant to Ahmad Rashad. Tarkenton has time. He's protected well. He dumps it down instead to White, who leapt but could not catch. It was too high, and so Tarkenton is now 6 for 8 for 64 yards. Second and 10 from the Detroit 22. Foreman will sweep it to the near side, the right side from the 22. Gets across the 20. Naumoff with a tackle right at the 19. Third and 7. Third and long. For the Vikings? Yeah. she made the right catch, AU. She really did. So I'll let you know when the cat sets up her protest perimeter out in front of the door, like she always does. So third and 7. Medium hitch to Sammy White. Tarkenton has time. Now Detroit blitzes. Delayed blitz. It's a dump down to Foreman. Tucker, the tight end, is hurt. That's the white tee you're coming off, but he'll be back. And the Vikings will be held to a field goal attempt. 63%. This will put the Vikings on the board. 36-yarder. With 12 minutes to go, and it's Rick Danmeyer. How could have I forgotten that? So Danmeyer will kick it. Coleman, the punter, will hold, and Mick Tingelhoff will snap it from 36 to put the Lions on the board.
Defense.
5-yard
penalty.
It's Al Baker.
4th down.
So now Bud Grant wants to think about it for half a second. 4th and 2. Now they're going to kick it. 67% chance. You need the points. If it was 1, maybe, but you got to get your points when you can. So again, now from 31 yards, Danmeyer has a 67.2% chance. Good snap. Good hold. Danmeyer misses it right. Missed it right all the way. Tucker will be back in the next series for Minnesota. But that was missed all the way to the right. So a bad kick, and Detroit gets it at their own 20. 1st and 10, 11:55 to go. In the second quarter, they lead at 7-0. And the only thing about a can of seltzer as I open up my can of Polar Cherry is that the straw, which I need, goes all the way to the top, and I got to wrestle with that. All right, 1st and 10 from the Lion 20. Kane and King for this series. Kane on a short, flat pass from the 20. Danielson looks, he throws. He has Kane at the 16, 20, 25. Blair makes the tackle at the 28. So Rick Kane makes an 8-yard catch, and Matt Blair gets his 5th tackle. 2nd and 2 for the Lions. Clock running. King on a sweep to the near side. Gets a block, 1st down, and a little bit more. Simeon with a tackle after a gain of 4. Fresh set for the Lions from their own 32. They lead 7-0 second quarter. Hill on a short slant. They're going to throw it on 1st and 10. Flag is down, and Hill has it at the 35. Hannon immediately with the tackle.
Grabbing the face mask. Defense. Number 45. 15-yard penalty. Automatic.
And that's a boo-boo by Hannon. That's another personal foul. And the last time they had a personal foul, the Lions got a touchdown. So it's a 5-yard catch and a 15-yard penalty. And now the Lions have it inside Viking territory at the 48. So 1st and 10, 11:02 to go in the half. Lions driving it down the field. Medium fly to Blue. Danielson has time. He finds Blue for a 1st down. Inside the 40, Wright makes a tackle at the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 13. And Luther Blue has 3 catches for 43 yards. And for as bad as Danielson was on Thanksgiving, remember, I had to yank him. He's 9 of 11 in the first half for 100 yards. Kane off tackle left from the 35, and the Vikings sniffed that one out. Simeon already with 6 tackles. Hits him at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10. King trap left this time from the 35, and that one is sniffed out. Jim Marshall. So the Viking run defense is standing tall. 12 carries for Detroit for 27 yards. That's an average of 2.3 a game. And it's 3rd and 10 for the Lions from the Viking 35. If you're wondering about Benny Ricardo, he's just sitting there shaking his head like, don't even think about it. Tain't happening, McGee. Little screen to Craig is the call on 3rd and 10. Danielson looks around, and it's incomplete. He underthrew him. He had to scramble as the Vikings just covered it too well. It didn't blitz. And he just underthrew King, and Detroit will punt from here. You're not going to try one here from 52 with Ricardo. So Scaladani's going to pooch this. There's a flag down. That's not a good sign. And it will roll right in. It's a touchback, but what's the flag? No flag. No flag. So the Vikings start again from their own 20. 8:46 first half. 7-0 Lions. 1st and 10. Rashawn on a medium slant. Lions blitz. Tarkenton never saw it. Weaver was right there. He brings him down. It's the second time that Tarkenton has found the turf, and the first sack of the game for Weaver. So 2nd and long from the Minnesota 12. 8:41 clock running. Draw play to Chuck Foreman. And the give to Foreman is a good one to the 14. 2 yards. And it will be 3rd down and very long. 16. And so that sack probably will force a punt. Young, short pass in the flat. Tarkenton throws. Young has it at the 11, 15. But he'll get to the 20, and that will be 19 rather, and that will be it. Naumoff with his 4th stop. And again, the Vikings are forced to punt. Under 7 minutes to go. Coleman stands at his own 4. Thompson and Thompson, yes, they really are 2 different players, are back to return. Good field position for the Lions. Fielded at the 40, 45, midfield in the Viking territory, and the ball is loose. The ball is loose. Simeon nailed it, and Swilly covers it up. And so the Lions turn it over. Pat Swilly. Dennis Swilly. Excuse me, not to be confused with Pat Swilly. Makes it and has the return at the 47-yard line. The Vikings, second turnover by the Lions. The Vikings take over with 6.5 to go. Sammy White on a medium fly. Tarkenton has time. He looks. White's going all the way down the field, and he can't get it. Now, Hunter was all over him, and there is no flag. No flag again. Now, Minnesota's had those 2 personal fouls called against him, and so White is having some words. And again, the mandate from New York was, you're winning this or losing this on the field. We are not deciding this game for you. And you know what? Now that I've said that twice, this is coming down to a pass interference call in the 4th quarter. Foreman. Sweep right. To the near side from the 47. Across midfield, a good run. And Weaver makes a tackle up the Lion 46. The line here is Detroit by 2. They lead 7-0. So Ron Yeri, the Hall of Fame right tackle, makes the big block. And the Vikings have options here on 3rd and 3. And that option is Ricky Young. He will go trap right from the 46. And the Lions stack him right up at the line of scrimmage. Paul Naumoff gets credit for it, but that was a collaborative effort. 4th and 3. Greg Coleman comes out. They're going to punt this deep. See what happens. The punt is away, kind of edges towards the sidelines. I'm not sure this is going to get returned. It is returned at the 5, 10, 15-yard line. Thompson took it at the 3. Hilgenberg with a tackle at the 15. What a daring call by the computer for the Lions. So Jesse Thompson has 2 catches or 2 returns for 27 yards. 4:52 to go in the half. Lion ball from their own 15. They lead 7-0. Hill on a short slant. Danielson has time. He's got Hill at the 20. First down, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Wright saves a touchdown by bringing him down at the Minnesota 47. A gain of 38. Danielson and Hill found a seam, and the Vikings invited him right through. Let's watch the replay. Minnesota tried to fake the blitz, and it cost him because he just found the open spot, and Hill has enough speed that he ran it right into Viking territory. Under 4.5 to go. King, trap left from the 47. And he gets some daylight, and Sutherland makes a tackle after a gain of 6, spotted at the 41. Dexter Bussey comes back in, 2nd down and 4. Bussey will try and sweep to the near side from the 41, and that will do nothing. Jim Marshall stops him at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 3rd and 4. Under 3 to go, first half. Lions 7, Vikings nothing. Freddie Scott, medium slant. Danielson, back to throw. It's time. He's got Scott for a first down. 30, 25. Bryant makes the tackle at the 24. And Danielson is now 11 of 14 for 155 yards. 7-0 Detroit. Bussey, pitch left. From the 24, 20. Nope, not a first down. And for Bussey, that gives him 1,000 yards on the number. Gain of 7. Puts him right at 1,000 on the season. Averaging 4.2 a carry and 5 scores. So spotted at the 17. Osera, clock running, will go to the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 3 for the Lions. They're already in Ricardo range. They can pretty much do what they want here. No one's used a timeout in the half. King, pitch right from the 17. Has got the first down or more inside the 10 to the 5. He keeps his legs moving. Blair knocks him down at the 2. It's a gain of 15. Homer Elias, the right guard, just led that hole, and King has 8 carries for 41 yards. The Lions have 210 net yards. I gotta take a pill. Aren't you supposed to be at work at 1? Oh, okay. Today is Tuesday. Okay, I still need a pill. Now, that was Valiant Lady in our old-fashioned soap opera of the day, brought to you by Retro Sports Network and Doan's Back Pills. All right, so 2nd and 2, or 1st and goal from the 2. 2 tight end set. Gay is the other tight end. Bussey wants the dive. 2 tight end set. Give is to Bussey, and he breaks through for a touchdown. And right now, that's right, AU, as our stomach turns. Cuyahoga Falls, lady in waiting, Carol Burnett. That's right. All right, so minute 21. Here comes Ricardo's extra point. It is up. It is good. And so the Vikings have work to do with a minute 21. It's Detroit 14, Minnesota zip. Thursday, Kansas City and Denver, essentially for the AFC West Championship. That's Thursday at noon, presented by HockeyTournaments.com on Retro Sports Network. The kick by Ricardo is fielded at the 8 to the 20, 25, 30, 33-yard line. Miller with a good return, and Dakin, D-A-Y-K-I-N, or Dakin, makes a stop at the 33. So a minute 15 first half. Detroit 14, Minnesota nothing. Sammy White on a medium slant. Vikings have all 3 timeouts. Tarkenton throws. White has it first down. 45, midfield. He gets across to the 48-yard line. Tarkenton, they'll take the timeout, was 27 for 47 last week against the Eagles for 224. So the clock stops with 1:08. Vikings trying to get something. They'll get the ball to start the second half. No, they won't. Detroit will get the ball to start the second half. Rashad. Medium cross, 1st and 10. Bad snap. Tarkenton has to look around, and Weaver will sack him. Grabbed him by the shoulder pads. They go hurry up. Under a minute to go. First half, 48-yard line of the Vikings. 2nd and 14. Young on a screen. Tarkenton has time. He looks. He's got Young at the 45, 50, 45, 40. First down, 35, 30. Great play. 20. Bradley knocks him down at the 19. A gain of 33. And with 37 seconds left, they'll take the second timeout. So what a run by Ricky Young. The screen was the perfect call, and he sliced and diced his way through. I can't do the replay now because they called the timeout. He sliced and diced his way through the Lions secondary, and it's 1st and 10 for the Vikings from the Detroit 19 with 37 seconds left. Rashad. Medium slant. Tarkenton is flushed. He looks. He trucks it down to Young instead. 15. Nomoff makes a tackle at the 13-yard line. Clock running. They're going to go hurry up. One shot at the end zone. 2nd and 4. Medium fly to Sammy White. Tarkenton has time, but he overthrows White. So it's 3rd and 4. 13 seconds left. Dan Meyer pretty much has a 68% chance of making this, but they got to go for the end zone. They got to go for the end zone. Medium slant to Ahmad Rashad is the call. He's got a 70% chance of hitting this. Tarkenton waits. He throws, and he checks it down to Young, who is going to be hit right at the first down marker. It's a gain of 3. 10 seconds left. And they'll call the timeout with 2 seconds left. So out comes Dan Meyer. This will be the last play of the first half. The Lion defense bent, but it did not break. Dan Meyer will boot this one through. And so we go to the half. Detroit 14, Minnesota 3. And indeed, the Vikings get the football back. So the scoring in the second quarter, Bussey on a 2-yard touchdown run with 1:21 left. And then Dan Meyer with the field goal as Minnesota fast breaked it across the field to end the first half. Tarkenton 11 for 16 for 130. Danielson 11 for 14 for 155. Time of possession, there's only 8 seconds that separates the teams. The Lions have 13 first downs. The Vikings only have 7. And so Ricardo is ready to start the second half. Detroit playoffs hopes will continue if they win. Field kick taken at the 5, 20, 25. Rhodes makes a tackle at the 27. Kevin Miller with a return. And the Vikings will now try to work on something a little more substantial than 3 points. Ricky Young off tackle right from the 27. That's how the second half starts. Gay with the stop. So Gay playing both ways, and believe it or not, he's the second tight end, and he's playing defensive end right now. So a gain of 1 on the give to Young. 2nd and 9 from the Viking 28. Foreman. Pitch right. Flag is down.
I'll start. Offense, number 61.
And that's the right guard,
penalty.
Hamilton.
Repeat, 2nd down.
Well, Buck Grant has a happy 2nd and 14 from the Vikings from their own 23. Foreman goes on the dive from the 23, gets it to the 25, gets into the secondary. Woodcock makes a tackle to the 28. Namoff, by the way, for the Lions, that's the blob you see coming off, and he's out for the game. So a good omen for the Vikings. 3rd and 9, 14:02, third quarter. Rashad on a medium hitch. Tarkington throws it to Rashad for a first down. He gets to the 40 before Luther Bradley, beg your pardon, will make the tackle. A gain of 11, and Tarkington is now 12 of 17 for 141 yards. Young on a short flat on 1st and 10. Flag is down. Pass is complete at the 35, 40, 45. Midfield, first down if it holds.
Encroachment, defense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty.
Vikings will decline the penalty because it was a gain of 11, and Dickel, the outside linebacker, gets credit for the tackle. So the ball is right on the heart of that Lions helmet. Right on the belly. You never scratch a cat on the belly. So 14-3 Detroit, 13:09 third quarter. 1st and 10, opening drive for the Vikings. They are going from left to right. And purple helmets, white shirts. Rashad on a medium slant. Lions blitz. Tarkington picks it up. He's going to scramble, and he's going to get a first down and more to the 35-yard line. So Tarkington, that's his longest run of the year. He had minus rushing yards in 1978 in real life. And so in a game that is essentially a tribute to him, it's the Tarkington of old. And he gets a first down and brings it to the Detroit 35. Foreman. Trap left. From the 35, he gets some blocking, and inside the 30, Cook with a tackle after a gain of 6. So Charlie Goodrum, the left guard, is the one that made the big block. Really, Ricky Young has made 7 catches for 83 yards? Tucker, the tight end on a medium hitch on 2nd and 4. Tarkington throws it. Tucker's got it. First down inside the 20, 15, 10. 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. A gain of 20, and Tarkington is dissecting this offense. A Miami Miracle, huh? Who you pulling for, Dave? So it'll be 1st and goal from the Lion 9. Yeah, that kind of Miami Miracle. Oof, oof. Foreman off tackle left from the 9 to the 6-yard line. O'Neal with a stop. It's a gain of 3. I know where to read. 2nd down and goal from the Lions 6. Tarkington's had a very good game. That 15-yard run might have been Minnesota's equivalent of a Miami Miracle. The Bears have lost. They are 8-7. The Packers beat them. They're 7-1. The Lions and the Vikings both can either win the division at 8-8 or make the wild card, depending on what happens with the Eagles next week. The Cowboys beat them, so the Cowboys finally have home field all the way through the NFC. And the wild card game we now know will be in Washington. Christmas night on Retro Sports Network, brought to you by HockeyTournaments.com. From the Lions 6, 2nd and goal. Foreman. Pitch right. From the 6. Tries to get to the sideline. That's not going to work. Weaver with a tackle. 3rd and 6. So 9 plays, 67 yards in over 5 minutes. Running backs are tired. Medium slant to Samuel White. They need 6. Tarkington throws. No, he dropped it. White dropped it. He should have had it. Hunter did make contact, but it was after the ball was there. And so Bud Grant bears an icy stare into Sammy White. And with that, they're going to try a field goal. So Dan Myers, 75% chance. Kick is up, and that's good. So the Vikings make it interesting. It's still a two-score game, but it's now Detroit 14, Minnesota 6. And so Dan Meyer will kick it to Thompson. Stands on his 8-yard line. Runs to his right, takes it at the 9, the 20, 25-30. Tackle at the 31 by Wise, and it's a 22-yard return. First line possession in the second half. Gary Danielson, 11 for 14 for 155 yards. Off tackle right to Dexter Bussey. He's now over 1,000 on the year. 35-40. And they got it. Give him 10. It's Wally Hilgenberg on the tackle and a first down for the Lions on their first play from scrimmage. Under 9 minutes to go. King. Off tackle right on 1st and 10 from the 41. Vikings read that one all the way, and Carl Eller makes a stop right at the line of scrimmage. Detroit will try to milk some clock. Bussey again off tackle left from the 41. And the Vikings sniff that one out. Simeon makes the stop, no gain. So 3rd and 10. Luther Blue on the medium slant. That's the call. Danielson back to throw. He has time. He's got Blue open at midfield. He stretches across for the first down. It's a gain of 11. Tackle at the Minnesota 48, and the Lions get a fresh set. 4 catches for Blue for 54 yards, and Nate Wright makes his 5th stop. Bussey, trap right from the 48, gets it to the 45 before Bobby Bryant makes the tackle. 2nd and 7. Lions just trying to keep it as long as they can. 2nd and 7. Short pitch to the tight end, David Hill. Danielson throws quickly to Hill. First down right there. He's got it. Gain of 9. 36-yard line of Minnesota. And Danielson is having himself an afternoon. 13 of 16 for $175. 1st and 10. Clock running. 6 plays. Clock already on over 3.5. Will be under 5 minutes by the time this ball is snapped. Bussey. Trap right from the 36. 35. Blair makes the stop at the 33. And so we are under 5 minutes. 2nd and 7. They are not quite in Ricardo range yet, if you're thinking that. King. Pitch to the near side from the 33. Has it. And he tries for the sidelines, but Sutherland stops him after a gain of 2. 3rd and 5. From the 31 of Minnesota. King on the screen is the call. Danielson waits. He's got time. He's got King. 35-30. Inside, Simeon makes a tackle right at the line, but they're going to give it to him. They measure, and it's 1st and 10 from the Lions, from the Minnesota 26. And this one's turning into a Pac-Man drive. Lawrence Gaines and Rick Kane come in because the starters are tired. Detroit 23 carries on the day for 75 yards. Kane off tackle right, clock running, cross the 25. He gets it to the 20. It's a gain of 7 before Bryant makes the stop. They spied on Danielson, but Danielson isn't doing anything. So 2 carries for 7 yards for Kane. And again, the clock continues to run. Gaines, off tackle right from the 19. He keeps his legs moving, but Eller makes the tackle after a gain of 2. Third and a short one. Carl Eller has 3 stops. Luther Blue on a short slant, hoping to catch the Vikings napping. They do. He catches it at the 9 to the 5. That's a touchdown. 17 yards from Danielson to Blue, and now it does look like Minnesota's going to need some sort of miracle. Ricardo comes in with the extra point, and it is good. 1:29 to go. The Lions took half the quarter off the clock. It's Detroit 21, Vikings 6. Ricardo kicks it away. Taken at the 5, 10, 20, 25, 30. Good return by Miller. O'Neal knocks him down at 33. Minnesota can't be dumping on field goals anymore. They need touchdowns. 1:25, third quarter. 21-6 Detroit. Minnesota starts from their own 33. Foreman will sweep it to the near side from the 33, 35, and that's about it. Weaver, 34. They didn't even give him that. The Lions keyed on him with Foreman. 2nd and 9 from the 34. Medium hitch to Sammy White. Tarkington throws it. White's got it. First down 45, but he can't get any yardage after the catch. No yak. Hunter with the stop. Minnesota will try to run a play. It really doesn't matter. White, 3 catches for 50. 1st and 10 from the Viking 45. Rashad on a medium hitch, but there's a flag down. But they don't throw it. They stop the clock with 1 second, but there's no flag. Well, that is an exploit beyond exploits. 1st and 10. Tucker on a short slant. Parkinson throws, almost intercepted. And so there, after 3 quarters, it's the Lions 21, the Vikings 6. This is the NFL 78 Lunch Replay on Retro Sports Network, brought to you exclusively by HockeyTournaments.com. And your third quarter scoring, Danemeyer, after a long drive, hit a 23-yard field goal to make it 14-6. And then Gary Danielson hit Luther Blue for a touchdown with 1:29 left. And that gives us a current score of Detroit 21, Minnesota 6. Lions have 18 first downs to the Vikings 12. Time of possession is pretty tight. 22:49 for the Lions and 22:11 for the Vikings. Both teams have been in the red zone 3 times, but the Lions have scored 3 touchdowns. The Vikings only have 6 points. So 2nd and 10, Ricky Young will sweep it to the right. You hope to do something here from the 45. He does. He gets across the line before Woodcock makes a tackle at the 47. 3rd and 8. Short flat to Young. From the 47, Tarkenton throws. Young's got it. 45-50 across midfield and a first down. Gain of 9. Dickel with it. And for Ricky Young, that's a season high. He's made 8 catches today for 92 yards. And I lost the chat. So hold on a minute. Let me... We have ourselves in the business something called a technical difficulty. This is the NFL Lunch Replay on Retro Sports, presented by HockeyTournaments.com. if you are either organizing or looking for a hockey tournament, hockeytournament.com is the place to go. And I'm going to call up the chat so I can see it. And that really is quite odd. I can't go back and forth, huh? Well, what happened was I went to move the ad for whatever reason, and it knocked off my chat box on the screen. So try not to have too many things open because it eats up the processor. But instead, you get. So that's why the delay, and I had to make sure I muted everything, and so I now have it open. All right. So 1st and 10 as we restart things. Only in Detroit would you get a delay for a chat box. It is 1st and 10 for the Vikings from the Detroit 44. 14-11, clock running, 21-6 Detroit. Rashad on a medium slant. That snap is bobbled. Tarkenton is going to try to get back to the line. He can't, and he's hurt. But he'll shake it off. So John Woodcock makes the sack. Blame it on the cat. I wish she's out there. She's outside. She's outside. So that's Woodcock's 10th tackle or 10th sack. And I can't blame it on the. I wish I could blame it on the cat. You can blame it on the Lions. 2nd and 13 following the sack. So Tarkenton isn't quite sure where the hell he is, but he needs to do something, and he needs to do something pretty quick. Clock running. Foreman. Oh, Detroit's gonna blitz. Screen to Foreman is the call instead. Tarkenton looks around. He throws it. Foreman's got it behind midfield. 45-40. He's going to get a gain of 9 on the play. Terry with a tackle. So it's 3rd and 4. And Foreman has 2 catches for 11 yards. The Vikings are 3 of 9 on 3rd down today. So 3rd down and 4 from the Lion 38. They are not in field goal range yet. Sammy White on a short hitch. Tarkenton throws it really quickly to White. 1st down, but nothing beyond that. Hunter couldn't get there to stop the catch, but he hugs White like flypaper at the 32. 1st and 10 from the Lions 32. Short slant to the tight end Tucker. Tarkenton does find Tucker at the 25. 1st down and more. Across the 20. Terry with a tackle at the gain of 14. And Young is limping off. Ricky Young is limping off. And Miller comes in. Robert Miller, who can make good catches and can run. So we'll see how long that Young is off for. Fresh set of downs from the Lion 18. 1st and 10. Clock stopped. 11:25 to go in the game. And he's going to Miller right away in the short flat. Tarkenton throws. Miller has it at the 21. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Touchdown, Minnesota. Vikings are back in it on the 18-yard catch by Robert Miller. The Lions were keyed on Foreman. Tarkenton went the other way, and the extra point by Danmeyer is good. So Young is available
Grabbing
again.
the face mask. Defense. 15-yard
Really?
penalty.
Al Baker. So Minnesota will kick this off from the 50. That's not very exciting. 11:17 to go. Detroit 21, Minnesota 13. And that is boom 9 yards deep. And Danielson and company will start from their own 21. We'll start with Canes and Kane. Did I say that right? Gaines and Kane. At the running backs, Blue and Scott, the wide receivers, and Hill, the tight end. Lions by 8. Medium out to Freddie Scott. Danielson blitzed, looks, throws to Hill instead, who's got at the 25. Hannah makes a tackle at the 27, a gain of 7, and now Danielson's over 200 yards on the day. Snap right to Rick Kane from the 27. He gets his legs going. It's a first down and more. Holloway makes the tackle at the 34-yard line. So the trap gives Kane some yardage. 1st and 10. Clock running. The Lions will make Week 16 meaningful for them with a win. Gaines pitch to the near side from the 34. And the Vikings knocked that one down at the line of scrimmage. Jeff Simeon now has 10 tackles on the day. And it's 2nd and 10. Kane, short flat before the Lions change it up, and he's got it at the 30. 35-40, first down, yes. Across the 45, it's a gain of 12 before Hilgenberg can make the tackle. And so Danielson, 17 of 20 for 216 yards and 2 scores. So Dexter Bussey and Horace King, the starting running backs, are back in. 1st and 10 from the Detroit 46. Bussey off tackle left. He's already over 1,000 on the year. He gets it to midfield before Simeon makes the tackle. In fact, they'll spot it at the Minnesota 49. 8:28. Clock running 4th quarter. 11 tackles for Simeon. Horace King will try a sweep to the far side from the 49. 2nd and 5. And the Vikings suck that one up. It's a loss of 2. And Luther Blue did not make contact, and he's done for the game. So 3rd and 7. 7:51 to go. Detroit 21. Minnesota 13. And it's Jesse Thompson. And it's a short hitch to him. Danielson has time. He's going for the dump off to Bussey at midfield. Bussey will reach for the first down and has it. Hannah makes the tackle at the 43-yard line. Give Detroit a fresh set. Clock running. 1st and 10. So 1st and 10. Bussey off tackle left from the 43. 40, 35. Hilgenberg with a stop after a gain of 8. And that's not what the Vikings should be doing. 30 carries for the Lions for 102 yards. 326 net yards. Under 7 minutes to go. King on a dive. King, first down and more. 30, 25, 20. Simeon with a tackle. That's a gain of 16. And so Homer Elias, the right guard, is the one that made the big block. And it's 1st and 10 from the Viking 19. 6:13 to go in the ballgame. And they're already in Ricardo territory. If the Vikings could hold them to a field goal, 2 scorers would give them 13-27. So they could conceivably win the game. But they got to hold them to a field goal. A touchdown just won't work. Short slant to Freddie Scott from the 19 on 1st and 10. Danielson. Flag is down.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 20.
And
automatic.
Bryant hit Scott before the ball got there. And they're going to throw the flag for that. We've said the officials, the mandate from New York all the way through was, we're not deciding this game, but you can't be so painfully obvious about it. And that was painfully obvious. 1st and 10, a fresh set for the Lions from the Viking 12. 5:35 to go in the ballgame. Bussey. Pitch right on 1st and 10. Danielson gives it from the far side. Across the 10, Blair makes a tackle at the 9. And that will bring the clock under 5 minutes. 2nd and 7. Again, another long drive for the Lions. 11 plays, 71 yards, and 6 minutes. 2nd and 7. Bussey, 15 carries for 48 yards. King off tackle right this time from the 9. And he is knocked down at the 10 by White. So James White makes the big tackle, but if you're on the right side of that screen, if you're listening on the simulcast, you can, well, if you're watching, you can see it, but if you're listening on the simulcast, the Lions are 8 for 10 on 3rd down today. They've just converted over and over again, and they have yet to fail to score a touchdown inside the red zone. Hill. Short slant from the 10. Time is there. He doesn't have it. Turner got a piece of it, and so that will bring out Ricardo. 13 plays, 70 yards, in 7 minutes and 10 seconds. So Minnesota defense has done their job for the most part. Scaldani is the holder. Thierry is the snapper. Ricardo is a 73.2% chance. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is good with 4 to go in the football game. We're at miracle time if you're a Viking fan. It's Detroit 24, Minnesota 13. Miller is the deep back. And Tama, one of the up men. This is a weird play at the 8. 10, 20, 30, 35. Nope. Just giving it to Washington there. Harry Washington with a 27-yard return. The Vikings have 4 minutes. They need 2 touchdowns. Samuel White on a long cross. Tarkenton is blitzed. He throws it to White, complete across midfield. Hunter with it. A gain of 18, and now Tarkenton is thrown for a season-high 257 yards. He's 21 for 28 for 257 and a score. So 1st and 10 from the Lion 47. Young is back in the game. Foreman on a short flat. Tarkenton throws it to the near side. Foreman has it at midfield. 45. Dickel with a stop after a gain of 3. It stays in bounds. They'll go hurry up. 2nd and 7. Rashad on a medium slant. Tarkenton is flushed, and he's going to get sacked by Baker. Blindsided by Baker. Al Baker, his 18th sack of the year, his 2nd of the game. And you know when we do the HockeyTournaments.com Pro Bowl that Baker's making that team. That might have been what the Lions needed. 3rd and 12. Tucker. Short slant. 2-down territory all the way through now. And Tucker's got it at the Lion 45. Terry forces a fumble. Detroit's got it. Hunter picks it up for the Lions. And the Lions recover with 2:33 to go. And yes, Lion fans, once in a great while, there is joy at the Silverdome with your name on it. Not just from a random Journey concert. So 24-13, 1st and 10. King off tackle left. From the 47, 50, 45, Marshall with a stop, but it's a gain of 10. It's a first down. And we've reached the 2-minute warning in Pontiac. It's the Lions 24, the Vikings 13. Stay with us after the game. We'll go through the latest scenarios and a rough idea of what we're going to bring to you for our expansive Week 16 coverage. Bussey pitched to the near side from the 43, 1st and 10. And he is nailed by Marshall 4 yards deep after the play. So the Vikings call time, 1:53, 24-13, spotted at the Viking 47. Danielson gonna get sneaky and trying to find Bussey on a short pass. He goes to the far side. Bussey has it at midfield, 45-40. Hilgenberg makes the tackle after a gain of 10. So it's 3rd and 4. Vikings call timeout. 1:45. And it's 3rd down and 4 from the Viking 37. So whoever it was that watched this and was all reminiscent of Gary Danielson's 5-touchdown game. No, Amazon, I wasn't talking to you. Sure. Sorry, Amazon, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. So 3rd and 4. Anyway, the point about Danielson, remember that? Remember when you asked to see this because it was Danielson's 5-touchdown game and you were there? I hope that this game has been everything you want it to be because the Lions have been impressive. 2 tight end set. Gain, the defensive end joins Hill. And they ask Horace King, how do you want to salt this game away? He says off tackle left. They say, okay. And here's the plays. Simeon makes the tackle, and they got it. The Lions are going to win. The Detroit Lions are still alive going to Week 16. And for the Minnesota Vikings and for Fran Tarkenton, that's it. Bussey off tackle left. Clock running. They can stop it once. Will they? No, they won't stop it. 52 seconds left. Again, Bussey on the drive from the 30. And that will do it. And so with 6 seconds left, the Lions go to 7-8. And believe it or not, they still have a chance to win the division. Let's get to the box score really quick. Tarkenton had a great game. 23 for 30 for 265. But so did Danielson when Detroit needed him. King 15 carries for 70. Bussey 18 for 48. Foreman 13 for 49. Young, Tarkenton threw him to him tried to form 8 times. He hit 8 times for 92 yards. Team stats, 25 first downs for the Lions to 17 for Minnesota. They just ran it better. I mean, that was what Minnesota's downfall was in 78. They just couldn't run. They were completely dependent on the pass. Both teams had 2 turnovers aside. It was a good game. Fourth quarter scoring, Minnesota made it 21-13 on that Tarkenton pass to Miller out of the backfield from 18, but Benny Ricardo hit the field goal with 4:04 left, and that put it out of reach. All right, before you leave me, let's go to the big board one more time. There's one game left this week. It's Kansas City and Denver. Now, next week, with Detroit's win, they will play San Francisco. Minnesota is done, and so is Oakland. So Minnesota and Oakland don't mean anything. We'll probably do Green Bay and Los Angeles, and we're doing Chicago and Washington. So at the moment, depending on what happens in Thursday's game, the drive to the playoffs, brought to you by HockeyTournaments.com. Chicago and Washington, Pittsburgh and Denver, Philadelphia will host the Giants. That's the third game. And it now looks like Green Bay and Los Angeles for the fourth game. We will do Chicago first. Now, so what did I say? 1, 2, 3, and 4. If we need to do Detroit and San Francisco, that game will be in Detroit, and that would be next Friday night. That's an optional game now. So if the NFC Central is not settled, we will do Detroit and San Francisco. But chances are Green Bay and Los Angeles will determine who wins the division. And so right now, the Rams would host the NFC Central. So pretty much Week 16 is an NFC Central feast. Chicago, Washington, Pittsburgh, Denver, Giants at the Eagles, Green Bay at Los Angeles, and if we need to, Detroit and San Francisco. That's next week. For this week, it is Kansas City and Denver. Yeah, that really was a good game. And so let me get it back up on the screen. For HockeyTournaments.com, where you can find either whether you're an organizer of hockey tournaments or want to play in a hockey tournament, HockeyTournaments.com is the place for you to go. I'm Ron Juckett. We're doing the Skins game tomorrow at 7 o'clock from a course I haven't selected yet. So Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Tiger Woods, and Phil Mickelson. Join us for that tomorrow night around 7:30. Football returns Thursday. It is Kansas City and Denver. And until tomorrow, I'm Ron Juckett for Retro Sports Network. We'll talk to you the next time.